Okay, folks, we're still talking about managing misbehaviors, and we've already discussed ground rules. So now we're getting ready to talk about directed discussion. During the DVD, you guys saw the little girl running around, running through the house, and you saw the whole interaction that she had with her parent. So what this is the principles used in this strategy was the principles used for directed discussion. And the principles are very important to remember. If you guys can go ahead and turn into your workbook to page 41 and 42, you can follow along the exercise that I'm going to have you guys do as I explain the principles of these strategies to you. So is everybody there? All right. So with that being said, the first thing that you want to do when your child is breaking the rules, use directed discussion when they're breaking the ground rules, something that we've already talked about. So if you set the ground rules, just like the parent in the DVD said, you know, the ground rule is we walk in the house. So we're going to walk through that example. So the first thing we do is we get our child's attention. You want to say the child's name and give them eye contact, but you want to do it in a calm manner. You don't want to yell, scream, and say, hey, get over here. No, you want to do it in a calm manner. And then you state the problem also in a clear and a calm voice. You say, like the lady in the DVD, she said, you ran in the house. And so that's what the problem was. Okay, after that, you want to state why the behavior that they've displayed is a problem. So in this particular case, in this particular exercise, you can see that she said that you could have broken something or you could have hurt yourself by running in the house. So after you do that, you wanted to describe or ask your child what they should do. In this particular case, we say, what is the rule that we have about moving through the house? How do we move through this house? And they will then typically reply with the answer. They may say, the rule is we walk when we're in the house. And then after they have acknowledged that they know what the rule is and they've actively know what to do, then you want to go back and you have your child practice it. So after that, the next principle in this strategy is to have your child do it the correct way. So in the video, you say, hey, so now that you know that we walked through the house, go back and to try it again. And so the little girl, she went back and she tried it again. But when your child does what you ask them to do, it is very important that you make sure that you praise them for what they do right. And you can say something as simple as saying, thank you for walking in the house. I feel so much better because that is so much safer. Now, if your child typically doesn't follow behaviors, you can also get them to repeat the rule and repeat the exercise. If they generally always running through the house, you can have them do it again. So if they walk through the house the first time, you praise them and say, now, can you please do that for me again, just so I can make sure that you've got it. And when they come back, you praise them for walking in the house again. So now what I would like for you all to do is I want you all to get in pairs of two and to see how long you can go along, how well you can go along with the steps of directed discussion. This exercise should take you guys a total of about 5 minutes. You're going to take 2 minutes, going through the process of each side, making sure you understand what you would say and how you would do it. Okay, you're going to work through the steps to figure out it and how to say to your child or teach to your child the correct behavior. You can talk about what you would say and do at each step. And then after that, I want you to write your answers down on the space provided in your workbooks. There should be lines in each of your workbooks so you can write the answers down for yourselves. After this, I want you guys to understand, after you do this exercise and you complete it, and then we're going to come back together as a group, and we're going to work through one more example just so I can give you guys the practice and so I can make sure that you guys understand what's going to be going on. Are there any questions that you guys have right now?
Yeah, Marcus?
Yes.
My child just typically does not just follow instructions.
Okay.
I have a really hard time. What do I need to do?
Okay, if you can look back into your handbook, actually it should be on page 40. What does it say to do? What does it say about the ground rules?
It says the main things to remember is to have small number of rules. Rules should be fair. Rules should be easy to follow. Rules should be followed up with consequences. Okay. Rules should say what to do rather than not what to do. Okay. Gotcha.
So, just like you said, if your child typically does not follow the instructions, even if you ask them to do it, you follow it with a logical consequence such as quiet time or time out or something like that. You don't want to do anything that's outrageous for something so small. Okay, so are there any other questions? Alright, you guys can go ahead and begin working in your pairs, and remember that this should only take 5 minutes to do. And okay, so the 5 minutes are up. Are there any questions that you guys have about the exercise we just completed? No questions? Okay, so we just went through the steps, so now you guys are a little bit more familiar with the steps of the written discussion. We're going to go into another example, and we're going to work through that example together as a group. Okay, so with that being said, that would be the end of the directed discussion teaching after we went through the final example. I want to take this time to kind of self-evaluate me and myself. Once again, I still find myself kind of feel like I'm talking a bit fast, but I do think that I was able to explain it correctly, and I was able to use the self-regulatory approach and letting them find the answers, not giving them the answers, not, giving them as little assistance as possible so they can feel like they're empowered and they can be the agent of change in their own homes. I do definitely think that I did a good job of making sure that I let them follow along with me as I explained the example for something they just seen. The DVD does show the little girl running through the house and have the parent go back and use directed discussion with her. One of the things I realized I did not do is I did not really explain that it works better for children who typically follow rules. But even if their parents have trouble with children who don't follow rules, it still kind of helps them along the way. You just have to put a little bit more emphasis into it and practice a little more. So besides all of that, I think overall I may have met all the requirements. I do think I did a good job, and the parents generally responded well. So thank you.